lessons to learn from it. First, you should be able to know that after you're done with your professional career and with your sporting activity, you don't need to relax. You need to also go into administrative system and build up that administrative prowess. Because leadership is something that is inbuilt, but then you need to polish it up, with garnering some leadership quality, after your retirement. Then, if you are this kind of person that maybe you are just good administratively, it can't take you that far. You need to also liaise to some other blocks in that same sport that you find favor, so that you can also broaden your knowledge. But then it becomes more easier when you take a deliberate and intentional plan towards joining forces with those who makes the game or the system work actively. So these are some of the lessons for us to draw from what we've seen Coventry achieve, for not just for Zimbabwe, but for the continent of Africa.
And of course, congratulations to her. Yes, the first female to emerge as president of the International Olympic Committee, as well as the first African to occupy such elevated and highly positioned, office. But away from that, yes, the 40th edition of the Miami Open is on in Florida, and I can tell you for sure that two highly respected master series is the Indian Wells and the Miami Open. And of course, you know that you need to be at your best to get to win the two, and that's why a lot of persons have been revered who have achieved such feats. And I can tell you that the big guys will be on, because it's showdown. We've seen a lot of games already, but it's showdown. Yannick Sinner, the defending champion of this particular one, will lose some points because he's been suspended. And of course, if you are the defending champion and you don't get to play the Master Series, you lose point automatically. Danielle Collins also showcasing skill. But Mike, rather, one thing we have not seen is the big boys coming into the party. Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, and some of the big names. We have not really seen them due to the buy. We're thinking what they stand to bring into this Miami Open, knowing fully what we saw.
It's more energy this time around. They'll be looking forward to see how to better their performance and as well accrue more points for them. So especially for Carlos Alcaraz, if he can of course get back himself, then put up that high level of confidence, I think we're going to see Carlos Alcaraz coming back to life, putting up that impressive performance we used to see. This is an opportunity, of course, he would have used to measure up in the absence of the likes of Yannick Sinner. But we've not really seen that, from Carlos Alcaraz. Even the man, the number two, the man who occupies number 2 position, Alexander Zverev, he also, this would have been an opportunity he would have used, of course, to see if he can possibly close the gap between him and Yannick Sinner. But we've not really seen the best, at this point in time. That should tell you that in the ATP, the level of performance has really gone down. That without Yannick Sinner, you can't see a player being that very much consistent in terms of performance. Since the man is out of the competition,
All right, welcome back from that break. If you are just joining us, this is the Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television. New International Olympic Committee president who is from Zimbabwe here in Africa. But it's time to talk football matters now. Obviously, we saw that play that yesterday. We saw the Nigerian Women Football League, the resumption, and some of the results that take hold the fancy of fans across board. And of course, we also saw the Federation Cup results across board and those that have qualified for the round of 32. But beyond all this, I'm just going to take you through some of the results of games ongoing. After 75 minutes, it's Sierra Leone 2-1 against Guinea-Bissau in Group A. And then in Group C, Zimbabwe they are also playing at the 2-all draws. And later on, we'll see more games as Gabon will host Seychelles, not forgetting Gambia versus Kenya, and then Mozambique versus. Of course, if there's anything to talk about, all Nigerians really want to see what the new coach of the team will bring to the table. Guys, let's go straight into the team and let's look at the style of play as well as tactical formation that possibly might be deployed by Eric Seco Chile. This is one man who a lot of persons, he was a lot of persons never have strong penchant, for his when he emerged as the new coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Regardless of what he did with Mali, that seems to be the only significant and historic, signpost a lot of persons can relate with in his career. But then, the 23 players are now in camp. They've had their first training session. They have their indoor training sessions. They've had their second training sessions, and I can tell you that defense. Who are those that will man the midfield, and who are those that will man the attack? But first off, it all depends on the strategy and the tactical formation that he comes with. So, what do you expect we might see? And how different will it be from what we have seen in the last 3 coaches that have pioneered the affairs of the team since the World Cup qualifiers?
I think we've actually talked about Eric Chell being mentor, especially in that way. Calvin Bassey, William Trusek.
But it was a different formation used by Joseph Pesero.
Yeah, different formation used by Joseph Pesero. It depends on what Eric Chell, of course, will be coming up with tomorrow. Okay. And then he will know how to fit in these players, knowing their strengths. And as well, know how, of course, to make them, play so well. But for Calvin Bassey and the likes of William Trusek, I think they are so good in that centre back. And then, for me, left back, right back is going to be between Sai Samuel and Ololuwa.
At this point, is it about players that fit into your formation or players that fit into the game plan or the opponents you're going to play tomorrow?
You cannot allow your opponents to determine your formation or the quality of players that you want to deploy. That is one thing that is very outstanding about coaches that have actually made mark for themselves. They allow the opponent team to do the whole calculation in their head about what they bring to the table. Why? Because they've over time established their pattern of play. It's more like coach like Pep Guardiola or Don Carlo Ancelotti. You want to play against them now. You start thinking that, Carlo Ancelotti is going to alter his formation just because he's afraid of his opponent. No. Because any slightest mistake, then you are going to commit error. And partnering with 5 and 6, you need to have somebody that you've trained with over time for you to get that understanding. I believe them coming to camp very early have enabled the coach to be able to create that understanding, perfect synergy between Econ and of course the man Calvin Bassey. Don't forget they apply their trade in Europe, and so they understand most of the tactics. It's simple for them to just unite
adjust
and adjust whenever they need to. Right?
Okay, let's look at the midfield briefly. Kesley, we have a lot of midfielders: Alex Wobi, Al Hassan Yusuf, Wilfred Ndidi, Rafael Ndika, Joe Arebo. I'm just wondering, from this pool of players, who gets to, since it's 4-4-2 formation, the wings and then the two midfielders that will hold the brief.
For me, I think it's going to boil down to which of the players every will want to use in different positions. If you take a look at it, just like we talked about the other day, we have more of defensive
midfielders.
In this particular one, we have Alex Iwobi, we have Joe Aribo, Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyedika, is also there. In front a little bit, playing number 8 position or thereabouts. Eric Chair is going to rotate that player. Is he going to bring? Well, Alex will be a regular number 10. Who are we going to see in 4? Because sometimes Hassan you saw Wilfred Ndidi sometimes, or sometimes, but you definitely want to start Wilfred Ndidi ahead of Hassan Yusuf. You talk about experience
and pedigree.
All of that. So for me, I think it's going to boil down to how Eric Chair will want to rotate that midfield. But if you ask me, I would say Wilfred Ndidi is good to start with that number 4. Alex will be, yes, we've not really gotten much confidence on him when it has to do with him regulating the midfield in terms of playing number 10 position. But I think Eric Chair should just give him that benefit of the doubt, and let's see what he's going to do at the end of the day. But for those midfielders, I think it's left to Eric Chair to see how to position them at the end of the day.
Okay, from what Kingsley just said, it looks like Joe Arebo is not even in the midst of play. Are we going to see any different? Because from the wing and then the two top attackers to conclude the 4-2-2.
Cameo appearances, he makes the difference most of the games that he's played.
Okay.
And traditionally, he's also good when you talk about the